All right, cool. So welcome everybody. Equipment that you are going to need today is the same, nothing too different. So your letter ball or a ball-shaped object of some sort. That could be a rag. Yeah, that's good. That could be a rag or a rolled up pair of socks, preferably something with an interesting pattern for your eye to look at. And then 2 pencils or two cooking utensils. You can use your thumbs if that's easier, but something for you to look at for when we do some of the visual work. Remember for this class, especially because we work the visual and vestibular system, to move at your own pace. Remember, it's okay if you find that you get dizzy or nauseous or your eyes start to itch or your eyes get watery. That is all okay, but that means that you've reached your edge. So back off, take a break. You can always close your eyes. You can grab some water and take a break. Okay, let's get going here. So I'll have you come to a seated or a standing position, something grounded with your feet either on the floor or on the base of your wheelchair. Feel free to, if it is safe for you to do so and accessible for you to do so, feel free to slip off your socks and shoes just to get some more biofeedback coming in through your feet. All right, we'll start by closing the eyes. And we're just going to do a body scan all the way from our head to our toes today. So just taking inventory and just noticing how your skull, your head, your ears, maybe your jaw is feeling today. And whenever I walk you through these parts, I want you to wiggle the areas around. So maybe opening and closing your jaw. Maybe starting to roll your neck around, roll your shoulders around, and just noting how all of those areas feel for you. And then going down and out through your arms and your hands, maybe giving the wrists or the hands a little bit of a wiggle. Maybe shaking or wiggling the arms. And then moving down your torso. And again, just maybe giving the ribs a wiggle, the pelvis a rock forward and back. Noticing how the ribs and the back, how your whole stomach area is feeling. And if you have the ability to move or shake your legs, or even just rub your legs a little bit, noting how your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, all the way out through your toes. And if it's hard for you to sense those areas, I want you to ask yourself, what would it feel like if blank, if I could wiggle my feet, if I could feel my toes against the carpet on the floor? So just bringing that into your thoughts. Go ahead and set your intention for class today. We'll take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open the eyes. Okay, let's just start with a few shoulder rolls. So you're going to inhale, so shrug the shoulders up, and exhale down. Noticing if there's a difference between the two sides. Yeah. And then you're going to bring that down into the ribs. And you're just going to start to find that hula hooping with your ribs around your pelvis. Just noticing how that's feeling. If you're able to bring your hips into that a little bit more, so you're kind of doing a full hula hoop with your ribs and your hips, go for it. And if you're standing, you can start to give a little shake out to the legs or just turning the leg in and out, in and out. Yeah. Okay. Coming back to the center, let's find some of our body tapping here. So with that area just under the collarbones, using your fingers or your knuckles to gently tap that area. Remember, this helps calm the nervous system. And as you're doing this, I'm going to start to bring your eyes in. So keeping your head pointing forward, you're going to look at something to the left of you, as far to the left as you can see, but keep your nose and your head forward. And then you're going to look at something to the right of you. So you can use pictures on the walls, anything around you. And I want you to dart your eyes back and forth, left, right, left, right, left, right, as quickly as you can. Make sure that you're not going into double vision. So you're not pushing your eyes so far that you start to see double, but that you're challenging yourself. Yeah. I want you to keep doing that with your eyes. Go ahead and start tapping down the outside of the arm, up the inside of the arm, but keep that pattern with your eyes. If you're blind or visually impaired, I'm going to have you doing more of a full head and neck rotation from left to right. Make sure your shoulders stay down and back for this one so the neck has a lot of space to rotate. Let's switch arms. This is also bringing coordination into play. Body tapping while moving your eyes quickly or your head and your neck quickly. For those moving your eyes, I now want you to go up and down. So something on the ceiling, something on the floor. Really pushing your eye range of motion here. Good. Coming to the back, giving the backs a few taps. Keep going with the eyes. Coming to the belly, finding your, clockwise direction with your hands. Had to think about that one. And now I want you to find a diagonal with your eyes. You're going to look up and left, down and right. And those of you that are moving your head, you're doing the same pattern. Up and left, down and right. As you give the belly a rub. Okay, working down the outsides of the legs, up the insides of the legs. It's okay if your body has to lean forward for this one, but I want you to change that diagonal. So now your eyes are going up and right, down and left. Up and right, down and left. This coordination is definitely hard for me. Making your brain work with this one too. And again, for those moving more from the head and the neck, you're following the same pattern. Okay, good. Go ahead and relax the eyes. We'll come back to a seated or a standing position. We'll give the hands a rub, maybe even a scratch today, just to really wake them up. You can use your fingernails if that feels good for you. The back of the hand, the palms. And then I want you to get in the webbing of your hands. So giving a rub in between each finger. You can use your knuckles, your fingers, or you can use the pinky side of your hand. I like to use the pinky side, and that might be more accessible for people. If it's hard for you to get in between your fingers, you can just stay on the back side along your knuckles. Yeah. And as you're doing this, if you're able to, try to open that hand as wide as you can, just giving all of those intrinsic hand muscles, meaning the muscles inside your hand, a nice stretch. Let's go ahead and switch sides, getting the webbing, stretching the fingers long if you can. Yep. Okay, good. We're going to drop down to the feet. If it's hard for you to reach your feet, remember you can stay on the thighs or you can stay on the lower legs, the ankles and the calf area. I'll walk you through each part. If you're doing your feet, I'm going to have you start with that finger and toe weaving, trying to get your hands in between your toes, giving the feet a wiggle there. And maybe just compressing the foot and releasing, going all the way from the heel to the toes. If you're doing the lower leg, you're going to be compressing or squeezing or stroking, whatever feels best for you, going up the leg. So going from the ankle up to the knee. Again, we move in this direction just to help get some of the stagnation of the fluids, the blood, the lymph, back up to the heart. If you find that you've got some swelling in this area, this can be really helpful for that too. And then if you're able to reach the upper thigh, you can also do the same thing, moving from the knee to the hip, if that's more accessible for you. Yeah. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Moving through whatever you can reach, whether that's the toes, the feet, the lower legs, or the thighs. If you're doing the toes, you can also do a pull forward and a push back with the toes to help mobilize them forward and back. Giving everything a bit of a rub here. Noticing if one side is maybe more swollen or tighter than the other side. And maybe even noticing, are you more stiff? For those of you rubbing your lower leg, are you more stiff on the inside of your calf or the outside of your calf? So you're just taking note of that. When you hit a sensitive spot, you can always use an elbow or use a fist, and you can push into it and breathe. Remember, with this kind of work, we never want to dig super deep, because then the body and the tissues recoil kind of like a turtle would. You have to coax the tissues very slowly over time to create change. Okay, go ahead and relax with that. Let's get the joints moving a little bit more. I'm going to give you variations for seated and standing today. So for my seated athletes, you're just going to find a wrist circle. You can try keeping your fingers as spread as you can if you're able to. For my standing athletes, they're going to do some ankle circles here. You can switch directions and or switch feet. You can also do them seated with your feet, so you can do both at the same time. It's totally up to you. Okay, I'm going to change the movement of my hand. So now I'm doing more of a wave-like motion. You can just do this from the wrist if that's more accessible too. So my hands go up to the ceiling, and then I curl my fingers down towards the floor and back up. So my hands kind of create this wave roller coaster like movement. If you're doing this from the ankles, your ankles are going to copy your hands. So you're curling the toes as if you were picking up like a marble with your toes, and then you're spreading and opening the toes. Yeah, just kind of fun to play with. If you start to cramp in your feet and or your hands, it means you're doing it right. Okay, coming to the elbows and the knees. So let's just do a few circles of the hands around the elbows. If you're standing, you can find some knee circles. So what I'm doing is I'm squeezing my knees together as I circle back towards my body, and then I open my knees up. So I'm basically drawing a circle with my knees around my feet. So this is also helping to mobilize my ankles a little bit. Yeah, or you're doing your elbows. Okay, good. And then we're going to come to external internal rotation. So let's find goalpost arms, pointing the hands down and up. And maybe just using this as a check-in with that shoulder internal and external rotation. And then you're gonna bring your arms out to the side. We'll all do this one together. And you're gonna shift the body to the left like you're really reaching for something to the left. I want you to pick up your right butt cheek if you're able to. So you're thinking of shortening your right waist. And then come back to the center. Shift and reach to the right. Starting to lift up your left butt cheek. Remember, pretending like you sat in gum. And shortening your left waist. So engaging that whole left back, left abdominals area. And just oscillating back and forth between the two sides. Maybe holding for 2 or 3 seconds on each side. If you're standing, you can also bring this into a single leg balance activity where you're lifting the opposite leg off of the ground. There you go. Let's just do 2 more here. And last one. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna give ourselves a big hug. Arms wrapped around the chest. Go ahead and find a nice roll down, coming all the way down to the ground. Or as low as you're able to. Take an inhale into that area in between the back of the ribs. And then exhale, roll yourself up. When you get to the top, open the arms, lift the chest up towards the sky. Give yourself a hug. Switch the direction that your arms were, and then slowly roll down. So if you're rolling down and you're standing, same thing, just go as low as you can. Rolling yourself back up. Inhale, lift up to the sky. And exhale, give yourself a hug and roll down. Let's just do 2 more here. Rolling back up. Inhale, lift to the sky. Last one, exhale, give yourself a hug and roll down. And roll up. Good. Last, open to the sky. And we'll let the arms go. You can take, if you're able to grab under your chair, depending on what kind of a chair you're in, you can grab under your chair. Otherwise, I just want you to take your left hand and reach it down for the floor. So stay in an upright direction, just reach that left hand down. Tilt your head to the right. So you should feel a nice stretch through that side of the neck. And then I want you to look down at your right armpit. So point your nose down towards your right armpit. And then point your nose up towards the sky, but keep your head in that tilted position. Point your nose down at your armpit. Point your nose up to the sky. Armpit to sky. Last one. Armpit to sky. Bring everything back to the center. Taking your right arm, reaching down for the ground. Tilt your head left. Just hold this one at first. And then look down at your left armpit. And look up at the sky. Remember to keep your head tilted. Down at your armpit, up at the sky. So keep oscillating between those two. I want you to really try to keep that right shoulder blade down and back right now, if you're able to do that. So we really keep that side of you open. Okay, good. Coming to the center, going to give the shoulders and the arms a bit of a shake. You can give the legs a shake. Okay, rotation. I knew we were missing something. So let's bring right hand to the left hip or as far across the body as you can. Yeah, and you're gonna take left hand, rotating behind you, looking at your thumb. And you're gonna come back to the center, take your, oh my gosh, my lefts and my rights are hard right now. And take that hand that you just opened, tap the other hip, and then open with the other hand. So you're just rotating into the other direction, and that's it. Good, bring that arm across your body again. So that starting position is with your arms crossed in front of you on both hips before you open back up again. So just finding a bit of cross body connection. That's why I want that hand to stay on the opposite hip as you rotate. And just going back and forth, and see if you can pick up the pace now. Hand to opposite hip and rotate. Hand to opposite hip and rotate. Can we exhale to rotate and inhale center? Exhale to rotate, inhale to center. Good, just do one more here. And then back to the center. Awesome. All righty. Let's grab your letter ball or your ball-shaped object of some sort. Okay, I'm gonna have you go right into playing letter ball if you've been with me for a while and you know what you're doing. Just as a reminder, you can throw it around, you can move it around, you can throw it against a wall that's by you, you can bounce it against the floor. Yeah, I'm gonna have you start playing. And then for those of you that are perhaps joining just for the first time, I'm gonna walk you through this. So holding the ball into your chest, you're gonna pull it away from your chest at any angle around you that you want. You're gonna look at the ball, say the first letter or number that you see, and pull it back into your chest. You're gonna pull it away from your chest at a different angle somewhere around your body. Quickly look at the ball, say the first letter or number you see, and pull it back in. And the goal is just to make that happen as quick as you can. So once it's away from your body, you look, you read the number, and you pull it back in. You're trying to bring that ball all around your body. If you're able to play catch with yourself, you could do that too. I've been adding a challenge these past few weeks for your eyes to stay on the spinning ball, whether you're moving it with your hand or you're throwing it, to try to track with your eyes a few numbers on the spinning ball. So maybe I see G, E, and 3, and 2, B, and J. You don't have to necessarily say it aloud, but you're just trying to track your eyes as you move it or you throw it around yourself. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch people here for a second. Yeah, I always give people a reminder that the places we often avoid are above us. So directly above our head, maybe slightly to the right and slightly to the left. So make sure not to unconsciously avoid those areas. I'm always consciously avoiding those areas. So I have to be really mindful to make sure that I do that work up above my eyes. It's usually where people have the most what we call vision gaps, where it's hardest for them to track an object. Yeah. Okay, just do maybe a few more. Okay, and then go ahead and relax. So for those of you that are able to see the ball, I'm just gonna change it a little bit. I'm gonna make your brain have to work a little bit harder. You're gonna keep your eyes closed now. You can throw it. Oh my gosh, that was a good example. You can throw your eyes, throw it momentarily, close your eyes, and then quickly open your eyes and try to catch it. Or you could just close your eyes, bring it away from your body, and then quickly open and look at the ball. So it's just making your eyes dart to the object a little bit quicker because they're not open the whole time. Okay, so whether you're throwing or you're just moving it around you, you're going to keep it closed as you pull the object into your chest, and then you're going to open it and quickly look once the ball is away from your chest. If you're feeling really wild, you can add eyes open and an eyes closed as you're throwing the ball around you. That is challenging, but you can give it a shot. Okay, so go for that. Play with the eyes open, eyes closed. For those that are blind and visually impaired, you're gonna stay with just moving that ball all the way around you. I want you to think of pointing your nose towards the ball in whatever direction you pull it around you. So your whole thoracic spine, neck, and chest is still really moving and opening with you as you move the ball around. Yeah. And you find that with the eyes closed, there's almost this anticipation piece, which is good. That's just the brain trying to figure things out. Yeah. Let's do 5 more throws or moves around you. And then on your last one, go ahead and set that letter ball down. And we'll keep moving. Awesome. Okay, let's just do a quick check-in here. We haven't done these in a while. So I'm just gonna have you find a few overhead arm raises. So lifting one or both arms as high as you can and just noticing how range of motion is feeling, ease of movement, speed of movement. Claudia, that looks good today. You look higher than you usually are. Yeah. Good, let's come back to that internal, external rotation. Just noticing if there's a difference there for you. We did test this one at the beginning of class. Let's do thoracic rotation. So arms straight out in front of you or across over your chest, rotating to the left and to the right. Noticing how that's feeling for you today. We can test some of the neck. So just turning the head to the left and then turning the head to the right. Does one side feel different than the other? Does it feel different from the beginning of class when we were wiggling the head around? You can even do a few tilts side to side with that head. Noticing if you feel different there. For my standing athletes, you could be doing a sit to stand, just noticing if there's a difference, a single leg balance, a hip hinge, a straight leg hip hinge. If you're on the floor, bridges or push-ups are also a good test there. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and grab your 2 pencils. We'll just use one in the beginning here. So if you only have one, just grab one. Okay, I'm gonna have you go right into your eye convergence, so your pencil push-ups. For those of you that know what you're doing, go ahead and go right into it. Remember, if you can still see the pencil clearly, feel free to take your glasses off. If you're able to do this one standing, try to do this one standing. You have the option to either go single leg standing, double leg standing, or walking the tightrope standing, where you have one foot directly in front of the other, or maybe just staggered off to the side. So just to play with your balance a little bit more. If you're just joining us, I'm gonna have you stay with just the pencil push-ups today. So in a seated position or standing, holding the arms out holding the pencil out at arm's length, looking at the very tip of the pencil. You're gonna pull that pencil in directly to that spot in between your 2 eyes. The second you start to see 2 pencils, you're gonna move the pencil away from you again. So the goal is to only see 1 pencil the whole time. The faster you move it, the harder it becomes. So if you find that this is getting too easy, you can move it quicker. And if you also find that this is too easy, you can start to do head movements with the pencil looking up, looking to the side, tilting your head, moving the pencil faster. If you're balancing on your legs or something of that sort, go ahead and switch legs or switch the direction that your feet are oriented right now if you're doing a staggered stance. And for those of you that are blind or visually impaired, you're going to be doing, let's bring this more into the vestibular system. Just throw those down. So let's go hands crossed over the chest. And you're just going to be moving from your neck today. So keeping the upper body relatively straight. And as if your head were one of those bobblehead toys, you're going to circle the crown of your head on the ceiling, rolling your eyes with your head. If that's not very safe for you to do, you can bring that more into a whole body movement, a whole torso circling instead of just a head circling if you have any head or neck issues or any hardware in your cervical vertebra. Yeah. Okay. So everybody go ahead and just do maybe 5 more repetitions of whatever variation you're doing. If you are doing some kind of a circling exercise, make sure you switch directions and you get an even number in both ways. Yeah. Nice, Julie. Okay, good. Yeah, good. I see some people doing almost a combination of the two. Yeah. Go ahead and relax. Okay. Hold on to, grab both of your pencils now. You can stay in a standing position if you'd like. And let's just bring both, let me scoot in a little bit. I feel very far away from all of you. Okay, let's bring both pencils out to the sides of your body. So holding one in each hand out to the sides of your body. Yeah. You're gonna turn, so we'll all do this one together. You're gonna turn your head and look at the left pencil, and then turn your head and look at the right pencil. And I just want you, I'm gonna layer on with this, but I just want you to start with that one. So locking your eyes to the left pencil and to the right pencil. Okay, for those of you that can see the pencils, I'm gonna layer on here. When you get to each pencil, so for example, I'm on the left pencil, I'm gonna look at the tip of the pencil and then I'm gonna look past the pencil at the wall or maybe at a painting on the wall. I'm gonna look back at the pencil. I'm gonna look back at the painting on the wall, and then I'm gonna turn my head and move to the other pencil. So you're looking from the pencil tip, past the pencil tip to something on the wall, pencil tip to the painting, and then switching to the other pencil. So this is working on more nearsighted, farsighted. Your eyes are having to focus close to you, and then your eyes are having to focus far away from you. Yeah, this can also help with eye convergence. So this can help with your pencil push-ups and vice versa. Pencil push-ups can help you with this near-far focusing. For those of you that are blind or visually impaired, I'm just going to have you stay with your head rotating left to right. Yeah, that's really good. And if you can't hold a pencil with one of your hands, just use an object close to you. So like there's a pillow next to me and then I'm going to look at the wall, pillow, and then at the wall. It's okay if they're on different angles. So if that's your variation, if it's hard for you to use one of your hands. Okay, same exact thing right now, but move the pencils down and up. So you've got one pencil up to the ceiling, one down to the floor. Do the same thing. Look up at the top pencil, ceiling, pencil, down at the bottom pencil, floor, pencil, top pencil. So you're just finding that near, far, switch, near, far, switch. For those who are blind and visually impaired, if you want to add a little bit more movement into this one, instead of just your head moving up and down, feel free to bring that more into kind of a rock back with the body. So I'm in a seated position. I'm leaning back. I don't have a chair back behind me because I'm on a stool. So I'm leaning back as I look at the top pencil, and then I'm leaning forward to look at the bottom pencil. So I'm using my core and my abdominals to find more of a really far forward sway, forward and back. So just bringing more of your torso into it. You could do the same thing if you're in a standing position too. That's the variation for folks who are blind or visually impaired. Otherwise, you're just staying with the pencil one. And now that I've been talking for such a long time, everyone go ahead and take a break. It gets so wordy with this stuff, but it's good to explain all of the variations. Okay, how are people doing? Let's maybe just reset the nervous system here for a sec. So yes, I know it's a lot with the eyes today. So let's just cross the arms over the chest. Go ahead and take a roll down all the way to the floor. I'm going to have you close the eyes when you get down to the floor. Find your breath into the back of the ribs. And just hold it there for maybe 5 breaths or so. Nice and slow and easy breaths. You can keep your eyes closed. And on that last breath, you'll roll yourself back up to the top. Yeah, just find a few shoulder circle rolls. You can open your eyes just to help reset the body. Yeah, and actually that's a really good point. I just saw a chat that some of these exercises can be kind of intense because we did a lot of up and down and side to side today. If you find that maybe your stomach isn't feeling good, or you maybe push it a little too far, just really take a break. Take maybe an extra couple minutes here to close the eyes, grab some water. Yeah, because that was a bit more than we normally do. We're going to take a break from the visual vestibular work and just do more with some spinal and joint mobility here. So don't worry, we'll take a break with the eyes. Okay, good. So you're going to wrap your arms around like you're giving yourself a big hug. Yeah, I'm just going to have you hold that there. I'm going to have you add a rotation in. So rotate to the left. And then rotate to the right. And then rotate to the left. Okay, pause. Breathe into your right ribs. See if you can feel that breath going into your right ribs. And then back to the center. Rotate right. Breathe into the left ribs. Notice if that's there for you or not. Can you sense it, or is it kind of hard for you to sense? And then back to the center. Round just your upper spine down. So just kind of a half roll down. You're not going very far. Trying to tuck my nose into my chest. And then back to the center. I'm going to bring my grabbing my elbows, bringing my arms over my head. So my upper arms and my forearms are framing my head. And I'm going to lift my chest up to the ceiling. If that's not there for you, you can just keep arms crossed. Keep arms crossed in front of the chest. Yep. And then you're going to take a side bend to the left. We're just slowing all of these movements down now to help the body reset. Breathing into the open ribs. Side bend to the right. Breathing into those left ribs. Can you sense that? Back to the center. Take a half roll forward, just rounding the upper spine. And then lifting everything up to the ceiling. Okay, good. And relax and go ahead and shake the arms out. Yeah, nice work, everybody. Okay, let's do a little bit of coordination work here. So I'm going to have you, let's start with this. Not crossing your body. You're going to take both hands and you're going to tap your knees, tap your hips, and tap that area just under your collarbones. And then you're going to cycle through that again. Tap the knees, tap the hips, tap the area just under your collarbones. Yeah, so arms are staying on the same side of the body. Don't cross the arms at any point, at least yet. And just cycling through that. Knees, hips, chest, knees, hips, chest. Mm-hmm. You can have an open hand, you can have a fist, whatever feels good for you right now. I want you to keep that pattern with your right hand and stop that pattern with your left hand. Okay. I'm slowing down because I I have to make sure that I can demonstrate it successfully. Okay. And then this other hand, let's start with the wrist, is just going to find a figure 8. Oh, I already messed up. So just a figure 8 with the wrist. Oh, and I messed up again. And keeping that pattern, knee, hip, chest, knee, hip, chest. If you need to slow that rhythm down to find that coordination, you can do that too. Yeah, and just moving from the wrist. The whole arm doesn't have to move. I have my elbow bent and I'm just doing that horizontal figure 8. In other words, an infinity sign. I'm just doing that from my wrist. Okay, if that feels easy and fluid, you're gonna stay with that if that feels challenging enough. If you want more of a challenge, switch directions with your figure 8. If you want, oh, damn, I keep messing up. If you want one more challenge, switch directions with the body tapping. Tapping chest, hip, knee, chest, hip, knee, chest, hip, knee. Okay, good. Can we totally switch hands? Okay, so left hand, knee or thigh, hip, chest, knee, hip, chest, knee, hip, chest. Your right hand is relaxed right now. Mm-hmm. When you're ready, ask your brain to work for you right now. You're gonna find the figure 8 with your other wrist. If it helps to close your eyes, maybe try that. Finding this is really challenging. If you're finding this is like almost impossible, let's just go back and forth from the knee to the shoulder with your taps as you find the figure 8. So we're just taking out one step, or you can stay with the whole knee, knee, hip, chest, knee, hip, chest. This side is much harder for me. If you need more of a challenge, I'm not going to take this one. If you want more of a challenge, switch directions with the figure 8. Keep the tapping going. If you want more of a challenge, you can switch the direction of your tapping from top to bottom instead of bottom to top. Just do maybe like 5 more here. Nice, Helen, good work. Yep. Okay, everyone relax. Give everything a bit of a shake. That one was trickier than I thought it was going to be. Let's bring both arms overhead. You can interlace the fingers if you'd like. Take a nice roll all the way forward. Come to the bottom. Pause here. Let's take another 5 slow breaths. Feeling where that breath is going or not going. Just taking that body scan again, noticing how everything is feeling. On that last breath, you'll roll yourself back up. We'll bring the arms down. Good. We'll close the eyes. And go ahead and just give a wiggle to anywhere in the body that you want. It could be your shoulders, your neck, your ribs, your legs, your feet. And just noticing if anything feels different comparatively to the beginning of class. How does your breath feel? Good. We'll quiet the body down. Go ahead and think of one thing you're grateful for today. We'll take one more inhale, one more exhale, and we'll open the eyes. All righty. Thank you so much for joining today, everyone. I know that was a heavy eye day. So thank you for hanging in. Just as a reminder, as BORP gears up for the end of the year, and we had the BORP fundraiser, but we're still trying to hit a new fundraising-ish goal. So although these classes will continue to remain free, if you feel so inclined to donate, we would really love that and appreciate that. Sarah Dawn will post the link down into the chat box below. And it's also in your registration email if that's easier for you to access. I think that's it. I'll stick around for questions if anyone's got questions. Otherwise, thanks so much for joining, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. It was great.